Blizzard should be ashamed. Following the previous video, yes they should. And honestly, Wyatt Chang should stop responding and just keep his head down.
You by our good friends over at Extra. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what
Damn, we're starting with the ad. Alright, let's go.
Ratio? Is it your gamer score? Is it your trophy count? No, it's actually your credit score. Yeah,
oh shit! It's my credit score.
Don't want to get laughed at? You need a good credit score. But what if you don't? Well, ladies and gentlemen, our friends Extra have created this amazing card that functions like a good old-fashioned debit card with a twist. The way that it works is you connect your Extra account to your bank account, and they basically look inside and give you a spending limit based on what you have. No credit checks, no interest even. And in fact, what happens after that is then you go into the store, you make a little payment, and then they spot you that day for the payment. The next business day, they then auto pay, and at the end of the month, all of those little purchases you made get tallied up and reported to the credit bureaus as good credit-worthy payments. And you can even get up to 1% in reward points that you can spend at the Extra reward shop. Ladies and gentlemen, having good credit is one of the most essential parts of a functional society and being a functional member of society. I myself once was shamed out of purchasing a home because I had bad credit. You want to try to get good credit in today's society, you need every advantage you can get.
This is kind of true, yeah.
An Extra might be the ace in your hole. If any of that interests you, head on over to extra.app, use our links and promo codes, and let's move on with the video.
Let's see if they operate in Canada. Oh, nice.
And you know, I am a gamer. As ashamed as I am to admit it, I play video games.
And yet, he never makes video game... At least I haven't seen him make video game videos. But, like... I love his mind. I love how he thinks. I love his analytic skills.
I played video games for a grand majority of my life across numerous platforms. I played board games, PC games, console games.
I lived to game.
Games on a Nokia handheld device. The
Jesus Christ.
N-Gage for crying out loud. But you know, mobile gaming is where things are a little bit different. Now, mobile gaming is very popular in the entire planet. Obviously, let's not pretend that it is very small. Mobile gaming, ladies and gentlemen, might be one of the most profitable eras of video gaming that we've ever seen. According to analysts in the industry, mobile gaming can rack up to $90 to $100 billion just last year in 2021 alone.
All free games.
Of course, PC and console gaming combined seem to bring in $50 billion. Now, of course, you might be like, 50 billion is a lot of money, but basic math will tell you 90 billion is a lot more. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, AAA gaming companies and many companies out there want to dip their hands into mobile gaming. Hell, they want to dip their hands into anything that could generate mad stacks of cash with very little effort, whether that be NFTs, entertaining blockchain,
the American dream,
or just going into the old world of mobile gaming. Now, there's plenty of companies that have mobile versions of a lot of their high-profile franchises out there. I like Shin Megami Tensei. There's also Shin Megami Tensei on a mobile device, and may I say, it's pretty decent. There's actually a lot of AAA games that are now cross-play across mobile
I just couldn't play. I tried Shin Megami Tensei, and like I hate the gameplay so much.
And high-end console systems like Genshin Impact. In fact, a lot of those big AAA games you see on your computer or console device, or people streaming like Fortnite, like Apex Legends, like Call of Duty to an extent, are literally also on mobile devices. Actually, I was playing Apex Legends, and if I showed you gameplay of this right now, you might think that it's a PC game. But, of course, you'll see the mobile UI, and you'll be like, damn, mobile gaming is getting better. Of course, even when I was a kid, mobile gaming was not near this good. Back then, we were playing shit like Game of War, okay? That's still a big game now, but back then, that's all we kind of had. City builders that were loaded to the brim with microtransactions up the ass. Now, Diablo Immortal is a very, very, very controversial game with a very controversial history. Of course, as you all remember, back in the day, this infamous clip aired, okay? Let's go back to a simpler time.
Oh. That was one of the best BlizzCons because there was so much shit happening. Like, best in the terms of, like, it was the worst, but because it was the worst, it was the best.
Playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
Are there any? The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
Yeah, and the reason it took 2 years is probably because they were porting into PC. 2 extra years.
I love that face the guy just made. I love that face we had to see. They're like, what? Wait a minute, I didn't expect to get booed. Now, obviously, when you go to, BlizzCon, or you go to a lot of these, conventions with diehard console and PC gamers,
Yeah.
we don't want to hear
Yeah.
that something in our favorite franchise is only on mobile devices.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a bit of a...
Especially when you expect Diablo 4 announcement. Especially when you expect the main announcement would be Diablo 4, and you bring this shit.
There's a bit of a problem regarding that. Obviously, there's a bit of a stigma from the general gaming community, the hardcore gaming community, against the mobile side. Of course, this beautiful phrase was uttered. Let's listen to it.
I love it. You guys not have...
have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones.
Oh, God, do you guys have phones? Of course we have phones. But if you told me that I also needed to get like a credit card terminal attachment on the phone as well to play this upcoming game, boy, might not.
Do you guys not have phones? Do you guys not have credit cards? Like, what the fuck, man?
The same reaction. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, Diablo Immortal, I
God.
actually ended up getting into the pre-registration beta of on
Yeah.
my Android device a while back. And
Yeah,
you
I
know
played
what?
the beta.
It's actually a pretty good game.
Stop saying it's not.
And no, hell hasn't frozen over. The game actually looks pretty good. If you look at the gameplay over here, like, it's pretty hard-pressed to see the difference between this or something like Diablo 3. And
Don't forget that Diablo 3 also sucked, though. Don't forget that. And what is even worse, I had to say this for the video. Okay, what is even worse is that the content that they have in this game that is super pay to win was basically taken away from the second expansion of Diablo 3. Because there was supposed... So Blizzard, if you didn't know, the devs that made the expansion for Diablo 3... Okay, I don't even remember the name, holy fuck. So after they made the expansion, they were cancelled. They were like, okay, we're done with Diablo 3, but these guys still had plans for the next expansion to make more content. And all that content went to this fucking shit.
first glance, of course, right? Obviously, it's still a mobile game. There's still some compromises.
Yeah.
I did go into the graphics settings, set myself to 60 frames per second, put on image sharpening, which threw my device load so high, but it
Yeah.
was worth it, okay? I threw everything to the basic maximum zenith, except like anti-aliasing. And admittedly, I do have a higher-end Android device, and the game ran perfectly fine and smooth for me. And so as I was playing it, it did remind me of having like the Switch version of Diablo 3 in my hand. Obviously, it's not the highest setting PC version of Diablo 3 or 2 Resurrected, but it does its job just fine. Like, actually, it had more graphical effects than I even thought. As far as the gameplay was considered, yeah, it's got like a, 4 skill system. Basically, they like auto-target towards the enemies over here.
And I love that they all they're using so many models from D3. Like, this is a unique boss model from Diablo 3. Like, why is it like just like, why is it here?
Generally, even the bosses and their patterns are a little bit more simplified so that people on console controller inputs can easily navigate around. It's not built for people that have the tactile like feel of like 2 analog sticks or having like an actual keyboard mouse setup. For the most part, it's a pretty simplified Diablo experience. That has all the sort of hallmarks that you would expect from Diablo 3. It's got the loot grinding, it's got all the farming, it's got all of the, salvaging and whatnot. As far as an actual Diablo game is considered, I can't say that this is a bad experience at all. Just the beginning captured me alone, and the more that I played it, obviously, if you were to just play the single-player campaign and not focus on the endgame stuff as hard, you could actually have a pretty decent experience with this title. So no, hell hasn't frozen over. The game is surprisingly a decent title. It's actually the monetization around it that sparks all the controversy.
I don't agree.
Because it seems like when it comes to the mobile gaming side, the companies are more interested in making the microtransaction aspects, the battle pass tracks, than they would rather be interested in just constantly making a good game. But we're going to get to why the focuses should be a little bit different. Let's move on. Now, when you look at gameplay for Diablo, I'm going to be upfront and real. I don't care about the storylines to these games or anything. I'm sure there's a banger story somewhere sitting
Not
there.
really.
But I'm the kind of guy that plays
Not in
Diablo.
Diablo.
I collect the lore books just for the XP reward.
Yep.
To be real, the gameplay for Diablo is all that excites me. It's like giving me a storyline in Doom. I just don't care.
I'm here to blow shit up.
Give me a demon and let me go on my merry fucking way. But of course, with Diablo
Fair enough.
Immortal, I'm sitting over here playing a game, and if I'm playing Diablo in general, I'm out there constantly starting a character from level 1, ranking it up, all in one night to max level, super high Paragon, and I'm trying to build. I'm trying to create builds. I'm trying to look for those sweet, sweet, succulent, legendary items. Then I'm trying to find the legendary gems. I'm trying to make the best goddamn character I can, which in all reality is me looking at the top player on the server that day and building my character according to that style.
Yeah, usually,
yes, ladies and gentlemen, for me, this game is an addictive loot grinding mess.
Immoral trash panda.
Really
Bro, the game is so bad. I'm not gonna lie. Forget the problems with the game of the monetization, all that stuff. The game itself is bad. It's not even a Diablo game. I installed on PC, yeah. Me too. I didn't play on fucking cell phone. It's not comfortable at all. On PC, it's actually kind of buggy as well. But it's yeah, it's the. I don't even know how to describe it. It's not even a Diablo game. It's a Diablo lookalike. That's what it feels like. It feels like a game that looks like Diablo, plays like Diablo, but is not Diablo. It's like a cheap imitation, a cheap Chinese imitation. That's what it feels like.
On the whole slot machine addiction. I've never been somebody that's a fan of slot machine and gacha games, but I'm always a fan of seeing those delicious legendary devices pop up. And you know what?
I need to make a video about the game regardless, because everyone's complaining about the monetization but saying the gameplay is good. I wanna he has really good videos. Yeah, he has really good videos, because calls out scammers and shit like that. Pretty interesting takes. Also the investigation he does, holy fuck, bro, this is. It's us growing up and watching YouTube was he's doing something stupid, or fail army and all that shit. Meanwhile, you have some serious fucking investigators here. V-Rising is and isn't a commitment at the same time. Yes, if you make it 5x gameplay, you can max out within the day, so you don't really have to commit to anything. So the Bitcoin investigation was even crazier.
That's pretty much what it's all about for me, okay? It's all about getting that loot and constantly running rifts and constantly making my character just that teeny tiny bit.
Yeah, so you can, if you do, because the thing is with V-Rising, it's oh, okay, then yeah, fuck it. Then, yeah, just play that. It's fine. Age of Hearts of Iron 4. Jesus Christ. I'm Age of 14? What the fuck? I was oh, yeah, Hearts of Iron. I want to play other games too. I mean, if you only have once a week, and Hearts of Iron is even more of a commitment, so it's so it's even harder to not play it. But yeah, I get you, man. I'm I just played V-Rising 2 or 3 weeks straight, just fucking going ham, and I'm kind of ready for the next patch. I'm pretty much I killed the game, right? 2 weeks to finish a game for me. Yeah. Well, 2 weeks means 2 days, right? So so you play once a week.
Stronger. Nothing gets me harder than looking at my damage percent going higher.
Well, you said you only have once. You just said you have only once a week to play. 1 day a week. Oh, okay. Right. Oh, so you mean other than that, you have a 1 day a week that you can play? Oh, okay. I guess that's what you mean.
Higher and higher. For me, a good night is when I can raise my character's damage by 200%. It makes me deliver 80 points.
Yeah, once a week is more than enough.
80 million points of damage per hit.
Especially, again, if we play duo, you really need to log in for 2 seconds, make sure your base is not decayed. But that's only if we play on an online server. If you play what's it called? If you play on single player, you don't need to log in ever. The world doesn't move forward until you log in. It doesn't matter.
That's the addictive part of games like Diablo.
And if you make it 5x materials and shit like that, you really don't you can finish the game within the day. It's a good game. It is. It just it kind of lacks content because you can advance so fast.
I just love getting stronger, and I think the same could be really expected from most people. Now, the reason why Diablo Immortal was a little
Makes
bit
sense.
controversial is obviously it's been a while since Diablo 3 has touched upon to Diablo 4. We don't even have Diablo 4.
Oh man, the speculations for Diablo 4 are even worse. Oh my god, bro. People are thinking Diablo 3 is like a warm-up to what's waiting for us in Diablo 4. The Blizzard doesn't exist. It's like it's not even a shell of its former self. It's like some lizard people took over. Speculations. Well, speculation is you see the monetization around Diablo Immortal. That's what you're gonna get with Diablo 4. And honestly, okay, when you played Diablo 1, Diablo 2, right? What's the most iconic thing from Diablo 1? Ah, fresh meat. Something like that? No? No, forget the story. I'm talking about, like, the thing that's, like, when you played it, what were you feeling from Diablo 1? When you played as a kid? When you played, like, what did you feel? I felt like I wasn't ready for level 2. Yeah, I felt gay, sure, whatever. Okay, so the way I saw Diablo 1 when I was playing it, when I went downstairs and like these rats and whatever started attacking me, and like they still did damage, I was like, fuck man, I'm afraid to go down one level. They're gonna be even worse. And then you open the door to the butcher and you're like, holy fuck, close the door right away. No, that was the feeling. Yes, that scariness, right? When I was playing Diablo 2, right, I didn't even go to Andariel until level like 18. I was like, oh fuck, this is the last boss of this act. I'm going back to level more because level 14 was not enough. I'm gonna level till 17 and just keep like until I'm like so fucking strong and I can beat it. Right? That was the feeling of Diablo 2, like that fear. Dude, Act 3 took me forever because I didn't want to advance because the mobs were actually doing damage to me. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna take my time, you know? Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. That was the feeling. What do you get with Diablo 3? Nothing. You just fucking run through the fucking content like a fucking maniac. Right? When people said Diablo 3 is like max level in 15 minutes, yeah, basically max level in 15 minutes. People said back when just released that Diablo 3 is like fucking ponies and rainbows and shit. Because it's like so colorful, it's not scary. Like it doesn't have that feel at all of Diablo. And Diablo Immortal is even worse. It's like, honestly, I don't even understand why Diablo Immortal doesn't even have an auto walk, like auto fight mechanic at this point. It can just be an idle game. Just like, oh yeah, let me click this and my guy will just go and kill shit. And like have like maybe like the boss fights you have to do yourself. Yeah, because fuck you, that's why. And dude, the thing is, Diablo 3 first playthrough before like the expansion and when you had like Inferno mode, it was hard, but it was never there was never a tense moment. Maybe the Diablo fight on like the hardest difficulty was tense, but there was never like a point where you're like, fuck man, I think I need to go and like do some more shit before I go forward. Oh my god, man, like I can't do this, like holy shit, I'm going back. Like there was never a moment like that. It was always just like charge forward, charge forward, charge forward, right? That was the problem with Diablo 3. It's just like a straight fucking game to end, like you start and you go to end game. And that's what I hate about Diablo 3. It's like in D1 you're scared of a group of 2 or more. In D3 you jump into groups of... Dude, in D3 you jump... It's not even you jump to groups of 50, it's more like, why isn't there a big group? Like, what do you mean I have to kill 1 or 2 guys? Just bring a whole fucking army, let me demolish them, right? It stopped being Diablo at that point. Even in Diablo 2, you don't have that. Like, there's certain groups you really don't want a massive group of people of, and the guys are super easy. Yeah, exactly. Right? It's more like when you die, you feel like you died to a dumb mechanic, not because you were like too weak. It's like, I didn't see that spinning arcane bullshit just fucking one-shot me. Right? The name of the game is Diablo Scary Bitch. Yeah, basically it was supposed to be a scary ARPG. Tense ARPG. Dark fucking holes. Shit can jump at you at any moment and like, you know. Yeah, and I need to continue this video. It's like 20 minutes. 20 minutes on a 10-minute video already. Jesus Christ. What's the anime? Okay, give me the name. Give me the name. The Wind Rises. The Wind Rises. Okay. Oh, one of those old school animes, huh? You can tell by like. Okay. Well, again, airplanes, your thing, right?
Really even on a close spectrum. So of course Diablo Immortal is supposed to kind of fill the gap. And when we find out it's a mobile pay-to-win title, ooh, it's not exactly... You see how that can cut a little bit deep?
Just a bit.
Tomorrow, Rockstar Games announced Grand Theft Auto 6, but we're not going to release GTA 6 Story Mode for a while. We will, however, release Grand Theft Auto Online 2. Yeah, I don't think that would go over too well. But so you can imagine sort of the...
The World War II Japanese airplane designer. Also, YouTube volume is down. All volume is down, really. Like, let me make it a bit higher. It's like the... because otherwise, like, you won't hear my mic at all. Right? My mic volume is higher than the video volume. But, like, if it's, like, on... Like, some videos are actually like extremely quiet, like just the people who make the video are just like a lot more quiet than others. Oh, okay. Is that what happened?
Hatred for Immortal. But of course the game come out and
okay.
It generally was the same gameplay we expected from Diablo. I think from a gameplay perspective it's fine. But let's talk about when things get a little bit microtransaction-y. Now, of course, microtransactions in Diablo aren't exactly new. If any of you remember when Diablo 3 first came out, we had the real money auction house. Yes.
Man. Yeah, he loved microtransactions. I'm not gonna lie. The real money auction house was not, I mean... took a poo-poo in one of his vids about... Anyways, yeah. So, the real money auction house, I don't know if you remember this when Diablo 3 just came out. I honestly had no issue with this. I understand what the problem was. People were just spending time on the auction house instead of playing the game. But honestly, all they could have done, really, is increase the drops. You did not need to remove the real money auction house, just increase the drops. And I think that would have been fine. The thing is with the real money auction house, people could buy gear, but Diablo 3 on itself was not as competitive. Why would it suck? Why would increasing drops suck? Indeed, 2 drops weren't that easy to get. True. So, see, the thing is though, with Diablo 2, you also don't really have, like, you have the best in slots, sure, but you can actually get yellow gear and completely destroy the game. The thing is with Diablo Immortal, no, MU Online ruined itself with, being extremely fucking grindy. Like, you have to AFK farm Yetis at like level 40 to like 50, and then AFK farm in like the dungeon dungeon 7, and so that's like, it became like that. But so if you increase the drops, the thing is, like, you also have like 5 different characters, right? So it's like, if you increase the drops, people can play. The thing is, right now, if you play Diablo 3 as it is now with the auction house, you would not care because you can easily get a lot of the drops and try different builds. Oh my god, are you actually try MU on mobile? I heard it's a good game. It does everything for you. You can literally go and AFK farm by a click of a button. It's literally like you don't need a clicker anymore. You can just go and do it. MU Israel, yeah. MU Dream, bro. That was the one. MU Dream. That was the one we played. That was the best one. 700 XP or some shit like that, or 500 XP. No, 500 XP is Israel. I think it was 5,000 XP for MU Dream. Yeah. Yeah. Either way, I like the real money auction house because I actually made a good chunk of change on BNet balance. The worst part about this is that you could not take the money out of your battle net. So it's like you can spend money, real money, but all the money you get back goes to the real money, to your battle net. So yeah, of course it's up, man. MU Dream is legit. It's probably like the best server.
Ever since then, Blizzard was hell-bent.
I'm still surprised you don't like MU2, man. It's such a much better game. But again, there's no nostalgia feeling for it. I get it.
On trying to fuck up the PvE, the PvP, whatever you want to call it, by trying
There
to
is no
introduce
PvP.
real money auction houses, real money systems, so that people who decided to buy their $60 game realize,
Oh yeah, brother.
Maybe I don't want to play my $60 game. Maybe if I could just pay myself to the end.
It is. MU2 is a really different game from MU. It is. Yes, I agree. But it's also, I think, a better game. But it doesn't have that feel that MU had. I mean, honestly, MU2 should not be called MU. I get what you mean. Just because it has two of the iconic characters. And let's be real, the main reason you play MU is because you can't wait to get those fucking flashy wings and flashy armor set. Extremely fucking flashy shit. When you're like fucking shiny and just walk around like the fucking shine is everywhere, just fucking blinded by the light. Blinded by the light.
End of my $60 game, that's all I'd ever want. And you know what? Something like that is sort of showing up in Diablo Immortal. Now, from my understanding and from the amount I've played, I'm never really tempted to go buy anything in the game. But that's not denying the fact
because you're a smart person.
that the game is heavily pushing me to buy shit. For instance, after completing the first
oh my god, that's the worst.
I was, pestered with a little like $1 item I could buy that supposedly had 800% value. Whoa!
Dude, everyone is memeing on this 800% value because the 800% value means absolutely nothing. First of all, $1. So this
item I could
one
buy.
sec, where is it? So $1 buys you exactly this 60 orbs, right? This is the Diablo Immortal like cost. $1 is this. So all you're getting, the 800% value, is this thing, which is a cosmetic, which does absolutely nothing. It doesn't even look that good. So the 800% value, and by the way, I don't even know if you can buy this outside of the beginner's pack. I haven't seen it on the shop outside of the beginner's pack. So basically 800% is what? Times 9. So that means this shit costs $8 to $9. That looks like fucking dog shit. That's basically what they're telling you. The 800% value means this scythe set or whatever it is costs $8 to $10, and it's one of the worst sets appearances they have. Oh, bro, they're making bank. They're making bank. I already I've seen streamers that spend like tens of thousands of dollars. Like it's insane. Let's see. MW sucks. Oh, Modern Warfare. I don't know. I think Modern Warfare sucks. It doesn't suck. I think Modern Warfare is a good game. Just not my thing. D3 sucks. WoW was good up until Legion. But like, yeah, 4+ years minimum of garbage. Yes. Yeah, straight up. And people are saying like, oh, I have hope for the next expansion of WoW. And I was like, bro, they didn't fix what made the game bad. It's like, Modern Warfare. Oh wait, Modern Warfare. You're not talking about the Battle Royale. I mean, the thing is, they did remake WoW. They made WoW Classic. In my opinion, it was a shitty game. TBC is also a dog shit game, right? It's like they did remake WoW. It's like it's not a good game, right? It's like it. This is my argument about WoW Classic. If WoW Classic was released without the WoW name attached to it, no one will play it. It's just that bad of a game. And the fact of the matter is, people make original WoW with better graphics. No, there's no need to. They could have done that, but they made the choice of making it like as it was. It's a dog shit game. The reason I'm saying it's a dog shit game is not because it's actually dog shit, which it is because people who said when Diablo, the World of Warcraft Classic is one of the best games ever, all quit to play the Burning Crusade when it came out, and when the Wrath of the Lich King will come out, the second expansion, they're all gonna quit TBC. So tell me, how do you think this game is such a good game when you can't wait to quit it to go to the next one? All the WoW Classic servers are dead because everyone who played Classic moved to TBC. Everyone who's gonna play TBC is gonna move to Wrath. And then what? They're gonna cry that they don't have Classic anymore? They have Classic. No one wants to play it. It's a bad game. Right? It's like people like, oh yeah, I'll play it for the nostalgic reasons, whatever. And then it's like, okay, it's over. I cleared the game. The game is fucking garbage. I wish they made WoW, but a little more shooter gunsy style. Just bro, I'm still waiting for Devil May Cry type of MMORPG. Okay, Elden Ring is the closest we have to it right now. It's not as fast as Devil May Cry, but it is pretty fucking good. But it's also not an MMORPG, which really sucks. But you can play with people. You should play Elden Ring. It's basically what you're asking for. Actually, no, it's not a shooter gunsy. It's what I was asking for. Just play League. Yeah, man. If I want to rage, I'll play League. If I feel like I have a lot of stress built in that I want to like let out and yell at people, I'll play League.
Supposedly had 800% value. Whoa, 800%.
Supposedly, yeah.
If the 60 orbs cost 139 here.
Oh, sorry, 139.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you go to the currency, and the 60 orbs also cost 139 here.
Yep. It means the scythe.
Wait.
Yeah.
How's that 800% extra value?
Because of the scythe.
Wait. Well, how valuable is this skin?
This. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. This shit with the shield, $8, $9. It's so bad.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah. This dog shit skin is $10 basically.
Where do they pull the 800% value out? Are you
Just
telling
make
me
it
that
up.
shit costs fucking $10?
Yep. Yeah, that's literally when I saw that. Looks cool if you're rich. It's one of their worst. Like, if you look at the at all the cosmetic stuff they have on the store, this is by far the worst one. Like, they have some really good cosmetics that I'm like, damn, holy fuck, that looks sick. Why is it not in Diablo 3? Because they put in Diablo Immoral. Yeah, it's just arbitrary,
that's just
arbitrary
800% value item. There's plenty of options where the game will tell you, hey, you want to buy this for $4? That's a 500% value. Where are we getting these like value percentages out of?
Dude, I love that he's making the argument I've been making for like so long about these like percent values, which is like, yeah, the laugh is like crazy. I've been making the same argument where it's like all these percent values, like what are you comparing it to? Because if you do the math, it's like it's not there because the item doesn't exist outside of this fucking deal and shit like that. So it's like, how are you getting these percent values? It makes no fucking sense. But it's like there's I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a great video about some guy explaining how to monetize mobile games, and that's like all of these tricks. They're using all of the tricks extremely aggressively, and like they're blowing them out of proportion just to like scam people out of their money.
I don't know whose asshole
It's
we're
crazy.
putting it out of, but kind of wild indeed. The amount of monetization that you can see in this game is pretty evident upon completing the tutorial, noticing that once you open the shop item, holy god, cosmetics, multiple currencies, Jesus Christ, the amount of loot boxes that I can touch into. Now, of course, if you ever actually looked at this game, you'll notice that it's not actually released outside in countries like Belgium and the Netherlands.
Yeah.
In 2018, laws were passed specifically to title loot box as violation of gambling legislature. Now, of course, companies who publish games like FIFA with, FUT, which is like FIFA Ultimate Team, a very, very, very microtransaction heavy focus to the portion of the game, would be basically like forced to comply with fines up to like 800,000 euros. And
you know what I'm actually surprised about? So the way Diablo Immortal works is that actually there are no loot boxes, which is technically not illegal in those. It might be actually, yeah. Dream might be Russia. Anyway, so the way the loot boxes work, like the whole code about loot boxes, like you can't buy something and not know the result of what you will get. That's what a loot box is, right? Uninstall. I'm sure the guy who's running it is not like, participating in the war. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm surprised that Belgium actually understood that what Diablo Immoral is doing is, yes, gambling is illegal on mobile phones. Yes, you can. I'm sure they're like you can gamble there, but it's like you need proof of age. The problem is with mobile games, you don't need proof of age, so they don't allow it in their games, in the video games, which is a smart thing, but also sucks because some games are not heavy on it. Starting to believe, we'll see, man. There needs to be like some strongest fucking legislation because good luck.
In prison for publishers. It was that severe because the idea was basically linking the loot boxes to gambling mechanics. And basically, when you have video games with loot boxes that are very easily attainable by children, literally mommy's credit card is connected to the account. They can buy all the loot boxes they want. You're literally feeding slot machines to actual children. You're actually focusing on a very addictive element. Slot machines are incredibly addictive. And you know
Hell yeah, man. Bro, when I was in Vegas, I don't know if I told you this. On the last day, our flight was at like 7 p.m. and we had to like leave the room at like 11 a.m. So you had nothing to do for like 7 hours. It was like, an hour or two to get ready. Rainy login screen. Anyway, so when I was in Vegas, 7 hours I sat on the same slot machine. The best part is obviously the alcohol was free, so it was great. I had a lot of Jack and Cokes. I sat 7 to 8 hours on that one slot machine with the same $20. And time flew by like that. I didn't even notice. My roommate came and told me, it's like, yo, bro, we gotta go to the plane. And I was like, oh, fuck. Is the time already? Just like that. 7-8 hours. Kind of like how playing V Rising yesterday all day. And I was like, how the fuck is it 6 p.m. already? What the fuck?
Completely fine and dandy, but when you basically give a slot machine to a younger person out there, a very impressionable individual, it's crazy. Really not out of the realm of possibility that they can literally throw away their life savings over the course of a few days even.
Oh yeah.
Just gambling and
my
unlocking
mom right
loot boxes. It's a very addictive practice, and I unfortunately even have fallen into practices for it.
Luckily it doesn't happen anymore, but fuck, man, that was a dark
in
period.
games like CSGO. And lo and behold, I'd spend up to like $30, $40 years ago. I've only done this like a few times in my life, but there's definitely an era of guilt I feel just by doing it. Now, obviously, when you play a fucking mobile game, let's be real about it. They're literally designed for you to throw away your money into, okay? They're literally designed to charge your credit card.
Bro, I played this one mobile game. Women are more likely to fall for it as well. Women and older people, yes. When I played, what was that game? Wartune, man. As Costa, man. Oh my god, we played fucking Wartune. Bro, so much money wasted. Rune Wizard and Rage Fighter. Rage Fighter is a melee. Rune Wizard, I don't remember. It might be newer than when I played. Rage Fighter is just a boxer, basically. Like, he's a melee fighter, no weapons. I believe he legit cannot equip any weapon. All his damage comes from his gear. But yeah, when I play Wartune, in 2 months I spent $2,000 to $4,000. Yeah, Hajime put that. And like, you don't even notice because it's like $10, $20 here, and it's like, it's instant on your mobile. You don't need like to sign anything. You just like, oh yeah, $20. Oh yeah, $20. Oh, there's an amazing deal on this $100 thing. It's like, bro, 2 months gone, $2,000 to $4,000, just like that.
Constantly. And
crazy.
Diablo Immortal might be one of the most guiltiest games when it comes to that regard. Now, ignore the fact that the gameplay is pretty decent, okay? The idea...
Yes, sure, the gameplay is smooth.
When you release a free-to-play game, and this is why...
Yes, I know. It was a weird time, for sure. All I played was Wartune. I played Wartune on PC and on my mobile, the same thing. Yeah, I know.
Bad game design. Because at the end of the day, it's not about making a good game. Think about it like this. When you play a mobile game like Diablo Immortal, most
I think it was like 23 at the time.
There,
you know, depression
Diablo
years.
Fans, as far as I know, are going to play this game. They're going to enjoy it. They're going to hit that free-to-play wall, that pay-to-win wall, if you will, where two things are going to happen. The PvP is going to get absolutely impossible because you're competing against people...
Oh my god, bro. The PvP in Diablo Immortal is the dumbest thing ever. PvP in Diablo Immortal is available only from 6 PM to 8 PM or some shit like that. Like, you cannot queue to PvP outside of those hours. Basically, if you want to do PvP, you are forced to log in at those hours. Where, by the way, there are more players, which is when you're gonna get owned, because you're gonna be queued with people who are paying, because you have such a limited time to play the PvP that you are always gonna play against people who have spent a lot of money, which would force you to spend money to get stronger. All right. What I'm surprised, and I didn't hear about this, I don't know if Diablo Immortal announces worldwide when people make a certain achievement. So for example, 5-star gem, which is like almost impossible to do. If when that achievement pops up, it triggers you to also want to get that, you know?
That are putting in thousands of dollars into the game to get stronger than
which
you.
is
That's
what
Wartune
did very well. His announcements and shit like that, world bosses.
Where the game is going to get so difficult that you either grind for hours upon hours, days upon days, weeks upon weeks, months upon months, in order to get stronger. Or you can pay like $15, $20 to get stronger, to basically go over that month-long grinding hump, if you will, right? So of course, you are going to reach that wall. And I think most people who are playing the game are probably going to stop, unless you enjoy the gameplay so much that you consider, yeah, maybe I'll throw them 15, 20 bucks every once in a while. You'll get those kind of people, but that's not the audience games like this cater for. They cater for those people that psychologically fall into the trap of basically pumping in hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. And then you obviously want to attract the largest whales to these entire games. The whales are what keep these games going.
Oh,
Remember,
the whales.
most people are not going to spend $1 on a game like this. But if you can get the 1% of your player base to put in $300, $1,000, $10,000, then you're in the money. Because that's how most of these games succeed. It's really the top 1% of the player base that keeps funneling in a massive amount of cash just to stay at the top. I don't even...
The thing is, it's like there's the Lost Ark thing, where it's like right now Lost Ark looks like such a much better game because of Diablo Immortal. But it's still the same fucking concept. Which is like, you just need a few people to spend, and that's it. It's like, but the thing is with Lost Ark, and I hate defending a pay-to-win game, but the thing is with something like Lost Ark is, even though the pay-to-win people, like the whales, they are reasonably ahead. They're not like, to the point where it's like, if you're playing for free, you can reach their level over time. Obviously, they will advance past that level, but it's like, it's a reasonable area to get to, item level wise, right? In Diablo Immortal, it is literally impossible for a free player literally impossible for a free player to get to a whale's level at any point. 100 years playing for free, you will not reach the same level of somebody who was whaling for like 2 months. It is literally impossible. Yeah,
most of these people are
the graphic is hitting hard, huh?
They're just people that want to have a high-ranking character on a game like this as a form of status symbol, if you will.
Yep.
You'll find this on plenty of MMO games, plenty of multiplayer titles, of people just constantly being whales and putting money into a game just to stand out above the average rest.
Like the weapon hits somewhere where the mob isn't and whatever. Oh. I don't even think you could change resolution. It's like Diablo 2, you know?
Now, of course, with a game like Diablo Immortal, there's so many elements of microtransactions into it. You've got loot boxes, you've got the cosmetics, you've got multiple premium currencies. Then you also have to factor in the fact that you've got multiple battle passes, if you will, too. You got the regular battle pass, but you got the...
Bro, the double battle pass is the scammiest thing I've ever seen.
Collector's battle pass! Whoa! Wait, does it have more tiers? No fucking way, dude. That is sick! It's not just a free track, it's a
double
track,
battle pass, bro.
A collector track as well. It's actually to the point where the monetization in this game is so heavy that even after you complete certain like gameplay loops into it, gameplay elements, they'll always be there to tell you, hey, you want to spend money, you want to buy this for like $1.50, $5 just to get like a 400-500% value by throwing those numbers. And remember, when it comes to...
I love that he looks as tired as me, like with the eye bags. I know what it is. It never goes away. I always have the bags.
Mobile games
it looks like he does too.
There are tons. There's a
I'm not
ton
alone.
Of cash, tons of hours of study done to find out how to psychologically get you to spend money on these titles. It's bad game design because at the end of the day, you're not trying to make a good game. You're trying to make a game that's going to exploit the psychological processes in our head just to get us to spend money.
The thing I hate the most about pay-to-win games is that when you play free, you feel like the game is not for you. Does that make sense? Or it's like you cannot actually play the game the way it was intended unless you spend money. Like you're locked behind certain aspects of the game that you can't get to because of like gear or whatever, because of difficulty, unless you spend money. That's probably like the thing I hate the most about pay-to-win games.
Because from a gaming perspective, what I'm seeing over here isn't fundamentally different from Diablo 3.
Or even worse than that, I would say. They make it extremely hard to be a free-to-play player. To the point where it's like they make stuff extremely grindy and extremely like long and extremely tedious. So you can't, like, you can, but it's like you have to spend hours just to like finish something. Meanwhile, you can pay like $5 to skip all of it. And you're like, well, is 8 hours worth $5? Go eat.
Nintendo Switch.
I ate.
Honest to God, if Blizzard wanted to do something really cool, they could just
also, what's wrong with your typing today? Are you drunk? Like, I see like so many typos in like half your posts. That's for losers.
Diablo 3 as a mobile game for like $40 with this kind of a control setup, and I would buy it. The ability for me to play Diablo 3 on my PC and then cross-save it.
What's the other hand doing?
And play it on my actual mobile device is pretty awesome. If I could do that, I'd be 100% down. But of course, that wouldn't make the money. Because what Blizzard wants, ultimately what any company wants, is a money.
It's monies!
Remember, games like Grand Theft Auto Online are amazingly addictive. And not only are they amazingly addictive, they revenue in billions of dollars per year well after their release date of like over a decade ago. Well, almost a decade ago at this point. But that's just one
Oh my god, I'm eating a Pops.
example of a highly successful title. Obviously, for a gaming company, having one mobile title that can make the revenues of 4 AAA titles, you know, in a course of a year is absolutely something any company would want. And
Yeah.
Diablo Immortal seems to be that case. You know, we might complain about it here. We might complain about the microtransactions.
Doesn't matter.
But make no mistake, in countries like China, or rather the entire
Yep.
Asian region, this game is going to
All
be
right, bro,
played
take it
like
easy.
hotcakes. And not
Yeah.
only is it going to be
Thanks for
played
stopping by.
like hotcakes, there's going to be a lot of whales that are pumping in hundreds upon thousands of dollars into a game like this. Now, the reason why the free-to-play microtransactions get really bad in this game versus other titles
Be
is
another
when you
new
look at
stream.
how much you may have to spend to
Another
make a
stream of you
post-game
rising.
character actually at the highest zenith of its ability. So, for instance, it's somewhere around the actual estimation
sounds good.
of like $110,000.
Well, Discord too.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the estimates. It could cost.
Actually, we don't
up
need to. There's voice
Doesn't
chat.
mean that's the average. I think the actual lowest.
There's voice
is
chat in the game.
Around $40,000. So $40,000 to $110,000.
Yeah,
Yes,
yep.
I'm not mistaking that. Could be the amount you may have to spend in order to get the highest possible character up on par with everyone else, and that's not factoring in when the game.
Did you say 110,000?
Around $40,000.
Oh,
so
okay.
$40,000 to $110,000.
Yeah, 110. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not mistaking that. Could be the amount you may have to spend
Sounds
in
good.
order to get the highest possible character up on par with everyone else. And that's not factoring in when the game constantly expands. You may have to keep pumping in money. This is like a corporate whale hunter's wet dream if this game takes off. Now, there's channels like Bellular News that have put in a lot of research actually specifically focusing on legendary gems, which is way...
I know Beller does it all the time, but still, mad respect to Beller for making those videos. Like, their analysis on all of this stuff is so fucking good, it's crazy. I don't even know who they have on their team that does it, but they're hitting it like really fast and pretty damn accurate with good fucking intel.
Here the microtransactions get really hard. This is where the game's pay-to-win teeth really start to show.
Yeah.
So for instance, they've started showing
It's
up...
like the leveling process is just like conditioning you to use the store, and when you get to like the late game, you're like, okay, now that I'm conditioned to use the store, time to spend the real money.
Drop rates for various gems. But let's get over it real quick. Let's talk about exactly how bad it can get. Now, to understand, legendary gems are something that you would have in games like Diablo 3 anyways, but it's not the same system from Diablo 3. The way that it works is a legendary crest is effectively a loot box in the game, right? And you basically have to play through dungeons to open that specific loot box. Now, of course, those crests, the rarer that they get, award legendary gems at the end of a lot of those runs. Now, that said, it is a very low chance to get anything tangible that you want. So, for instance, let's go over a few of these drop rates. For 1-star capping, you're looking at 75% drop rates. For a 2-star cap, 20%. For 2 to 5, 3.75%. 3 to 5 star, 1%. 4 to 5 star, 0.2%. And 5 out of 5 stars, you're looking at 0.05%.
So basically, getting invincible in WoW is easier than getting a 3-star gem.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the fucking fisting in the ass level drop rates that I've personally ever seen. Of course, games like this typically have pity systems as well, and a pity system is effectively a system that says, hey, after 50 bum rolls, we're going to give you something legendary, so you at least don't feel like you're pumping money down the brakes, right? Now, of course, you can imagine people have come up with estimations at very ultra endgame levels that have basically said that a final build will cost you, at best, if you're completely lucky, $40,000 to up to $110,000 of gem hunting if you're trying to find a maximum 5-star everything in the situation. Now look, at the end of the day, all right, I believe that there needs to be a limit to how much money a company like this wants. Obviously, no one should be spending $110,000 to reach a 5-star max limit. That's unhealthy if you're putting 6 figures into a game like this, especially a dime a dozen free-to-play title. Even $40,000, don't pretend that that's an okay amount either. So obviously you can see that for drop rates like this is effectively a gacha game. It is a gacha game with pretty good gameplay. Actually, gameplay that is carried by how good Diablo 3 is in general. Now, in the end of the day, obviously I have this thought in my head that really, when it comes to games like this, it's really up to the user, okay? Who am I to tell you your style of gaming is bad? Obviously, if you're somebody that enjoys these style of games, you might think, hey, I love pumping tons of money into a title just
Oh
to
yeah,
get to the maximum spread.
that's
Hey,
my
feel
thing.
free to do so, right? Obviously, that's your prerogative. Obviously, there's got to be some level of age gating as well, too, because what we're seeing here is a straight up gambling house. This is not a game anymore. This is a fucking casino, okay? Let's just not mix hairs at this point.
Casino is a game.
Now, I'll be completely real. Now, earlier in the video, I talked about having, a good central core game that could carry across a lot of people. Now, at the beginning of the video, I talked about having a good central core game. Free-to-play is here to stay, and obviously a lot of companies are deciding to go hit the free-to-play market. And obviously, that's because you can get a lot more downloads and a lot more traction for the average player if you price your game at $0. Okay, you make a good core title. Like, for instance, I'll bring up Call of Duty Warzone as an example. I'm not the biggest COD fan in the world, but I can at least say that Call of Duty Warzone probably has some of the best shooter mechanics, out of any battle royale.
It actually is. As someone who doesn't like shooters, Warzone is actually, it plays really good, super smooth. The shooting is really nice, but like I just don't like shooters and BRs overall. But yeah,
person shooter, by far, compared to like other games. I'm not a big fan of stuff like Apex. I like Rainbow Six Siege, but when I just want to turn my brain off and play a shooter with some friends, Warzone is always there. Nobody has to spend any money to get into this game. Now, because it's a good game and I enjoy it, sometimes, occasionally, I will purchase a skin or I will purchase a weapon. Yes,
makes
it'll
sense.
be like $10.
Yeah, you want to
But
support
for me,
the title.
I kind of treat this as sort of a tip. And I think that's where microtransactions make the most sense, right? Like, if you create a good free-to-play game with constant, consistent updates that are still free to the average person, and you give the option for whales or, the players with disposable income to help subsidize that, I think it's a much better proposition. And clearly it works, because if it wasn't, these games would not come out as free-to-play anymore.
This fucking camper, bro. Just sitting in this fucking house.
People purchasing skins. We used to go from a point where once these games came out, they made us buy each individual map pack or content expansion for like $20 each, every once in a while. They found it a lot easier to keep everyone on the same track, but then obviously release expensive skins to subsidize their core title. Now, of course, your core game has to be good. Warzone is enjoyable to play, which is why I put money into it. For a game that is a mobile-oriented title like Diablo Immortal, yeah, sure, the game is there, but the value proposition is thrown away by the fact that you could buy games like Diablo 3 or Diablo 2 Resurrected for a much sort of, cheaper price. I mean, granted, they're not free games, but pay $30, $40 once, and you get a game that lets you play it as much as you want and actually gives you a fair amount of rewards for a fair amount of gameplay is something that I think is far more better than obviously getting a free-to-play title where you're constantly getting fisted for the most tiniest of rewards possible. Yeah. Of course, selling a $30 game versus selling a free game to download and play all the way to the quote-unquote end is a much more harder upfront proposition. But again, comparing this to the value, I can very easily buy games like Diablo 3 on the Switch or Diablo 2 Resurrected on the Nintendo Switch and play that over this game and get much more enjoyable gameplay hours than something like Diablo Immortal, which by the time I hit the end, it's do I pump in money profitable. Or do I spend hours, days, weeks grinding for something that isn't going to give...
What's he saying about Modern Warfare? He's not. He's talking about Warzone. Saying that it's like Warzone is a good game, it's free to play, a game he can always just go and like chill with his buddies and and like shoot, and like when he pays for something in that game, he considers more of like a tip to the development team that that they're keeping up, like maintaining and all that stuff. And I agree that that's kind of like what the monetization system should be like with the cosmetics and stuff, where you're like, I'm playing this game, it's free, and it's like, fuck it, I'll just pay some money because it's nice. Kind of like buying skins in League of Legends. Like, you enjoy it, you spend a lot of time on it, like, fuck it, it's a cool skin, someone developed it, here's some money, thanks for the development, thanks for keeping this game up because I'm spending my whole life playing with this shit. Right, so it's like, that's what I view the microtransaction as, like cosmetic, non-affecting gameplay, unless it's a Lux Elementalist skin. So that's what he's saying, right?
Give me a tangible reward in return.
But it's like right now, it's like, but there's the other one where it's like, Thick Comes, Jesus Christ, what a name. there's the other aspect where like people make shitty free-to-play games and like use very low resources to make it, don't spend a lot of money making it, but then it's like they monetized heavily, and it's like all you need is the 1 or 2 guys that will spend the money, and you made more than all of your money back, and then like you made a lot of fucking money from like a shitty game. And that's basically what Diablo Immortal is compared to like something like Diablo 3, which is a lot more enjoyable and has a lot more content. And it's like you probably, the $60 will go much longer, like will give you a lot more pleasure than the thousands of dollars you would spend on the free-to-play game.
I think is the real question. Hell, let's look at the pricing for games like Diablo 3, even physically. A copy of Diablo 3 that does not
but you'll get less people playing
to be connected online in the first place. You can play this completely offline in the sanctity of your own local network connection.
True.
Like right now, if I was to pay $62 to get the Switch version, I could play Diablo 3, a very good game. Portable, 60 frames per second, even splitting up a Joy-Con to play with my homies on the go. And I would get the exact same experience, if not better, compared to what I'm seeing on Diablo Immortal.
Enjoy.
Now, if I paid less to get $40 versions for the PlayStation 4 that I could play on the PS5 or Xbox One, I could play that with my brother on the same system, get that same experience, just without the microtransaction fisting that comes with mobile titles. And obviously, this is a game that also exists on PC as well now.
Hard
it's
not
not
to buy
just for mobile
snacks.
gamers. So obviously, for
yeah,
a lot
no,
of the PC
like
crowd that's
really
going up
game.
in arms about this, who may not understand just how predatory gacha games are finally getting their first taste of what mobile gaming is bringing to the entire gaming hole as a front. Look, I'm against predatory games like this. I'm against predatory principles and microtransactions like this all the time. But, you know, nothing's going to change unless we actually stop supporting it or playing it outright. And we've gotten to a point where even if we don't play it, even if the majority lambasts it, mobile gaming is such a large market that obviously this will completely get drowned out. All of this outrage will get drowned out by the majority of players from multiple regions of the world who just log into this game to play it every once in a while.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to the point where, yeah, I guess you should play the game up until you hit that pay-to-win wall. But be understanding that if you want to
don't.
the ultimate zenith of this game, the final god arc
Don't
of it,
play this game.
you need to absolutely be willing to put in an ungodly amount of cash unless Blizzard changes a few things. I don't support this practice, but all I can say is if you enjoy this game, play it, but once you get to the end, please do not contribute to the absolute whale-requiring economy that these games desire.
Okay,
because once you start doing that, you'll see this bleeding more and more to AAA gaming that you can see right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You'll see this bleeding in more and more to games that we see on console devices and PC devices that are typically catered to more hardcore gamers, not just mobile ones out there. Because ultimately, this is the world that most AAA gaming companies want. But it's not a gaming world that I think we're going to benefit from as much as these fucking companies are. So that being said, though, this is Diablo Immortal's video. One of the most fisting games I've ever seen, but not something completely surprising. I could have seen this writing on the wall ever since this was first announced.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Clearly, Blizzard wants a cash cow, and if this game works, a cash cow is what they have. This will make more money than Diablo 1, 2, 3, and 4 combined. And if you think that's hyperbole, well, just look at where the market is. This is me, Munahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
Cheers, man. How am I not subscribed to him? Jesus Christ. Some ordinary gamers, yeah. Anyways, yeah, pretty much, yeah, he sums it up pretty well. But again, when he says that the gameplay is good, that's what I'm going to be talking about, in my opinion. It's not good. Spoiler alert.